Victor Wembanyama, the No.1 pick in the 2023 NBA draft, has been the most hyped prospect since LeBron James. The French Phenom has been under the microscope for years, closely tracked by scouts, coaches, and NBA legends. He's been labeled the next big thing before even stepping foot on an NBA court. The hype around Wemby has skyrocketed to wild levels. People are already debating how many MVPs he'll collect, how many rings he'll win, and whether he could one day join the GOAT conversation, all before he played a single NBA minute. But not everyone's sold on the hype. Some fans and former players are staying cautious, either unimpressed with his early accomplishments or simply waiting to see him prove it on the biggest stage. One of them, Rasheed Wallace, a highly underrated big man from the 2000s era. Since retiring, Rasheed Wallace has floated in and out of the basketball spotlight, but his voice still carries weight in the hoops community. And when it comes to Victor Wembanyama, Rasheed sees the potential, but he's not fully convinced the rookie is ready just yet. The dude's like 7'4", maybe 210 pounds. That's gonna be tough, man, Wallace said. He's so thin. Most of the centers in the league today, they're not built like that. And yeah, to be that tall and handle the ball the way he does, that's crazy impressive. But I've also seen him get cooked before, so he's got some things to figure out fast. Especially being the #1 pick, that's a whole different kind of pressure. Still, Wallace isn't writing him off. In fact, he believes that with the right support system, Wemby could thrive. I'm sure he'll get great development, especially with guys like Tim Duncan and David Robinson around him. That'll help a lot. I'll definitely be tuning in. There's already talk about the Spurs possibly playing Wemby at the small forward spot just to keep him from taking too much of a beating in the paint early on. But that's all speculation for now. One thing we do know, with Victor's work ethic, it's not far-fetched to believe he'll eventually bulk up, much like Giannis Antetokounmpo did over time. Meanwhile, over in LA, Paul George remains one of the few shining hopes for the Clippers' championship dreams. But even PG knows he can't carry the load alone. He'll need the right pieces around him, and one teammate he's especially high on is Nicholas Batum. On his podcast, Paul recently shared some insight about the kind of player Batum is, and even told a story that dates back a couple of years. It involved Wembanyama and Batum's early praise for the young French star. George admitted that, at the time, he didn't buy the hype. I remember when Nick first started talking about Wemby. Paul said, I kind of brushed it off. First, I had no idea who he was even talking about. He described this kid supposedly pushing 8 feet tall. Seriously, almost 8 feet. And I thought, come on, if someone that tall existed, we'd all be talking about him already. Turns out, he meant Victor Wembanyama. And yes, the buzz around him has been non-stop. But here's where things get interesting. Comparing Victor's hype to what LeBron James got back in 2003. That's where NBA star Damian Lillard says, hold up, while analysts, players, and fans have been praising Wemby like he's the second coming, Dame isn't buying the comparison. In a tweet that quickly caught fire in late May, Lillard wrote, I was in 7th grade when they were hyping Bron on ESPN, and he's still at the top 20 years later. That single sentence hit hard. For Lillard, LeBron's 2-decade dominance puts him in a different category, one that Victor hasn't earned just yet. So while the world may be ready to crown Wemby, Dame's reminding everyone LeBron's level of greatness didn't come from hype, it came from longevity. Alright, let's pump the brakes for a second. People are getting a little carried away with the Victor Wembanyama hype. Yes, he's the latest #1 overall pick and undeniably gifted. And sure, if everything goes right, he could build a legendary path like LeBron James. But let's be honest, it's way too soon to start drawing those parallels. On a recent episode of the podcast P with Paul George, Draymond Green, fresh off re-signing with the Golden State Warriors for more years, shared his thoughts not just on his team's future, but on the towering French prospect himself. When asked how he'd defend Wemby, Draymond didn't hold back. You're not just dribbling through me like the Harlem Globetrotters. I'm sorry. Now, don't get it twisted, Draymond respects Victor's talent. He even called him a phenom, but he made it clear hype doesn't equal dominance, especially not against seasoned vets. Draymond did credit one major win in Victor's career so far, landing in San Antonio under Coach Popovich. According to him, that system is perfect for Wemby. The Spurs are known for molding young talent the right way with elite development, professionalism, and structure. So yes, the future looks promising for Victor. But if you're already comparing him to legends, Draymond and plenty of others are here to say slow down. Let the game speak first. Draymond Green didn't stop there. While he praised Victor Wembanyama's skill set, he also kept it real about what it takes to defend someone of his size and talent. Look, he's a special player no doubt. Doing the things he does at that size, that's rare. But some of the hype, I mean, come on. Then Draymond broke down the mindset needed to contain a player like Wemby. You've got to press into him early. You let him get comfortable, and it's game over. You're not blocking his shot, he probably can't even see your hands. So the work starts before he gets the ball. Green emphasized the importance of disrupting Wemby's rhythm before he even gets into position. I'm crowding him the second he starts running down the court right when they grab the rebound. Because once he finds his spot, it's too late. It's a veteran's perspective, part respect, part strategy. Draymond sees Wemby's upside but makes it clear, in this league, you've got to earn your space. And he's not giving an inch. Draymond Green made it crystal clear when it comes to Victor Wembanyama. He's playing him tight. There's nothing you can do once he gets in rhythm. That's why I'm pressing him full court. I'm not giving him any room, none. And while Draymond's giving Wemby his due respect, not everyone's sold just yet. Enter Charles Barkley. The inside the NBA icon, never afraid to speak his mind, hasn't jumped on the Wemby hype train. Barkley, a Hall of Famer himself, has always been skeptical of anointing young stars too early. He looks like he's going to be great, Barkley said. But you really can't tell until he gets to the NBA. Chuck's main concern, the physicality. He believes Wemby's real test will be going toe-to-toe with grown men, night in and night out. Everybody wants this kid to be the next big thing, but this league is a different world. He's not playing against kids anymore. So while the potential is sky high, the message from the vets is clear. Let's see how Victor holds up when the lights are brightest. And the elbows get real. He's not just expected to score, he's got to guard elite players on the other end too. And that's where foul trouble starts knocking now. Let me tell you something from experience I've spent for decades around the NBA. And in all those years, I've only seen one player skip college and walk into the league truly ready, LeBron James. Sure, Kevin Garnett had the talent, but even he had growing pains. Greatness takes time, even for the greats. Charles Barkley keeps hearing this kid is the next big thing, maybe even the next Jordan. But let's be honest, how many times have we heard that? For 40 years, we've crowned players as the second coming of MJ, and none lived up. Talents like Harold Miner, Roy Marble promised a lot, delivered little. The pressure crushed them before the league could. So here's my take, I want to see the kid play. I really hope he turns out great, but I'm not handing him the crown before he earns it. Just because he's dominating overseas in the Czech Republic doesn't mean he'll walk into the NBA and take over. That's the skepticism some experts are voicing. Dave Portnoy, founder of Barstool Sports, didn't hold back his doubts. Right after Victor Wembanyama was drafted by the San Antonio Spurs at the NBA draft in Brooklyn's Barclays Center, Portnoy tweeted, "I might be the only person on earth who doesn't think Victor is a sure thing." And he didn't stop there. He added, "That body just screams breakdown to me." Now, to be fair, Portnoy clarified that he'd still draft Victor if given the chance, but in his view, big men with Victor's frame often struggle to stay healthy long term. He's not alone in raising concerns. CBS Sports analyst Colin Ward-Henninger also chimed in, publishing an article that highlights why it's okay to have some hesitation. At 7'4" with guard-like skills, Victor is a unicorn, but questions about durability and NBA-level physicality still hover. So while the hype is real, so are the doubts. The world is watching, but not everyone's convinced just yet. Victor Wembanyama is already doing things that make jaws drop. He dazzles with his handle, blocks shots into the third row, and drains one-legged fadeaways straight out of the dirt. Now it's the playbook. Then, just when you think you've seen it all, Wemby pulls off something no one's ever done before, and the legend only grows. But here's the truth, no matter how much we marvel at a prospect's potential, history has shown us that expectations can be a heavy burden. And for Wemby, those expectations are sky-high, comparable only to LeBron James when he entered the league. So while we've spent plenty of time highlighting what makes Victor special, it's worth asking, what could stand in his way? Ironically, the very thing that makes him a once-in-a-generation talent, his unmatched mobility at 7'4" could also be a red flag. No player with that frame has ever moved like this. And that uniqueness comes with risk. Nobody likes to talk about injuries. It's the part of the game we all hope never happens. But when you combine size, agility, and the physical toll of the NBA, the concern is real. Everyone wants to see Victor succeed. The hope is that he stays healthy and delivers. on the promise. But it's okay to acknowledge the challenges too, because greatness doesn't just require talent, it demands durability. The concerns with Victor are hard to miss. At 7'4", he moves like a gazelle and jumps like an impala, but that unique build brings its own challenges. It's clear he'll need time to adjust to the physical style of the American game and to add more weight to his frame. Yes, we've seen the flashy one-legged threes and step-backs with defenders all over him, but when the season ended, his numbers told a different story. Just 27.5% from 3 on 5 attempts per game. The year before that, only 26% over 16 pro games. To truly elevate his game, Wemby has to sharpen that outside shot. Even NBA legends have taken notice.